Hey, what's up YouTube? How's it going? So there's one huge frustration that comes with POTS, and I've been neglecting to make a video about it because I'm pretty sure it's gonna turn into a rant. So POTS and doctors, nurses. Now, I love doctors, love nurses. There's some amazing doctors and nurses out there. Don't get me wrong. But there are doctors and nurses who don't take the chance to try to understand POTS, try to learn about POTS, and they judge you pretty harshly. I've had doctors on numerous accounts tell me that there's nothing wrong with me. It's in my head. This is my fault. I'm doing it to myself. You name it, I've heard it. And it's frustrating, but it's gotten me to where I am now. When you're constantly being told that there's nothing wrong with you and this is your fault, that life sucks because you're doing it to yourself. And it breaks you right down to the bitter end, and then you build yourself back up and you're twice as strong as you ever thought you could be. I now don't take shit from anyone. I'm gonna call you out if you're judging me for having POTS, if you're making fun of me, if you think that there's nothing wrong with me. You know, I'm gonna say something now. And I now have a really good friend with POTS, and she's getting judged by nurses now. And I feel absolutely terrible because I know how much it sucks. And I can take it now and it doesn't bother me anymore, but she's still new to POTS and this is really hard for her. And it makes me really mad that when people don't understand and people don't know, that they judge you. And I feel terrible, terrible, terrible. And I'll probably say it 10 times by the time this video is over, but it's not fair. And every POTS patient has to go through at least one person telling them that they're crazy, or it's all in their head, or, you know, that POTS isn't real. And that's something has to change. You know, life shouldn't be like that. POTS shouldn't be a journey that everyone laughs about because, oh yeah, everyone experiences some doctor telling you that you're crazy. Like, that's terrible. That's not fair. You know, if someone wants to learn about POTS, I'll sit with you for an hour and tell you about it. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. I've been doing that ever since I've learned enough about POTS to start telling people about it. Once I was familiar with what I had and was familiar with my symptoms and how they affect me, what changes them, you know, I finally started telling people about it because I was tired of being the person that looked fine yet had an illness. You know, I probably look fine today. I don't feel fine. I haven't been feeling fine for a while now, but that's okay. It just sucks that I rarely look the way I feel. Like, people will come up to me all the time, right? I probably say this in every video. How are you today? You look great. I appreciate people telling me that, but just maybe instead of saying you look great, ask how I'm feeling. It's not too much to ask, I don't think. Just ask how I'm feeling. And other POTS patients I talk to, it's the same thing. You know, it's, you look great, and it's, thanks, but how can I tell you in a nice way that I don't feel great? And that's some of the frustrations with POTS. And I want to be there for as many POTS patients, POTS caregivers as I can, because, you know, POTS just isn't fair. POTS is super complicated. POTS, well, at least for me, changes all the time. I'll have one symptom for months, and then all of a sudden it'll disappear and something new appears. So P.O.T.S is insanely hard to understand, and as soon as you think you got it figured out, like, yes, finally, it kind of laughs at you and changes again. So P.O.T.S is full of frustrations, and it's okay to get frustrated. It's okay to get mad. I get mad all the time with P.O.T.S. Like, instead of crying about it because, hey, you can't cry for spilled milk, I just get mad at it. Like, come on, body, let's get it together. I want to do something today. And that's P.O.T.S for you. And let's take on our next challenge, next hurdle together. Let's do it again. We can do it. Whatever comes next, we can do it. And that's about what I wanted to share today. I felt terrible about my friend, and I just had to voice my frustration, my story, my opinions with it. And I guess I should end on a rather funny note. So, in the beginning, a long time ago, I was getting diagnosed with different things that they thought it was. So I ended up in Emerge a lot of the time because we didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. So I ended up in Emerge, and at the time I was young enough where I could still get into pediatrics, which is amazing. Way better than the adult Emerge. And I waited for hours, finally got in, and this cute little Asian doctor comes in, and she's like, "Oh, hi dear, how are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I don't feel good at all." You know, the whole story. And her last visit after all my tests came back clean and normal and good, which is awesome. She comes in and she looks at me. She grabs my hand and she says, "Dear, you need to try yoga. Your cure is yoga, honey. You're stressed, life is hard when you're your age, but yoga is the cure." And I was so tired that I didn't even think anything of it. I was just like, "Oh, thanks for your help." Yeah. I woke up the next day. I sat up in my bed and I started dying laughing. Yoga? Okay. Yoga? Like, all right, whatever you say. And still to this day, for some reason, it'll pop up in a conversation that I got told that yoga was the cure. You know? And today, I wish yoga was the cure. I would love yoga to be the cure. I'd be taking yoga every day, all day. And so, I was probably one of the best doctors I've met that still to this day can make me laugh. And I appreciate that I had the chance to have a story that is so funny that it gets us through the really shitty hospital visits, because we can just sit there like, "Do you remember that doctor? The one that told us yoga was the cure?" Like, it's great. It's kind of a humbling thing that someone, you know, she was trying so hard to be of help to me, and that her idea of yoga, as humbling as it was, is just hilarious now. So that's about all, I think. Hopefully it didn't turn into too much of a rant with frustration. All right, take care, everyone.